Before I go to the big story of the day, which is Trump slapping 25% plus a possible 10%, that's 35% plus tariffs on India, let me tell you the real image that bothers people like Donald Trump of India launching a NASA satellite. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the day. This is what really bothers America. That even when they have to send their satellites to space now, they have to depend on India. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the images of India's synthetic aperture radar satellite launch system. This is launched up on board India's geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle GSLV F-16, the real F-16, ladies and gentlemen, launched from Sriharikota on board our very successful GSLV F-16 rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, this satellite carries a $1.3 billion satellite Earth imaging system, which is the most expensive civilian Earth monitoring satellite in the entire world. So please remember and take note that this joint NASA-ISRO operation, the most advanced in the world, being launched with unprecedented precision by our fantastic scientists at the Indian Space Research Organization. Now, why am I showing you this, ladies and gentlemen? Because it is a symbol of rising Indian power. We are no longer a middle power, we are a great power. Even the Americans take a space ride on us. So in this context, this rise of India is beginning to bother America a lot. Because you see, America is on free fall. American society, American economy, American politics, the American fabric is on free fall. And a desperate America is going around with a tariff threat. That's why Trump says that India is not being a friend enough, our tariffs are too high, and we are also buying, we're the largest buyer of energy from the Russians. Unable to control the Russians, he's slapping 25% plus an estimated 10%, what we expect, Russia penalty on India, which means he's imposed a 35% tariff on India. Now, I believe one of the reasons he's done that is because Trump is a shallow man. Trump does not separate his personal ego, his likes and dislikes, from his governance and his absence of statecraft. Yesterday, we said clearly in Parliament, and the Prime Minister said, that Trump is bluffing the world. His bluff was called out by the Prime Minister because Prime Minister Modi said clearly that we have said from day one that our action is non-escalatory. No leader in the world asked us to stop Operation Sindoor. And this is the exact bite, the exact comment, which External Affairs Minister Jaishankar also made in the Rajya Sabha today. And on top of it, the Prime Minister revealed to the world that it was J.D. Vance, in fact, who called him twice on the 9th of May. And the Prime Minister did not pick up the phone call because he was busy in meetings with the Indian Armed Forces. And Modi said, I couldn't speak to J.D. Vance. And when J.D. Vance eventually spoke to me, he told me that Pakistan is planning a big attack on you, Mr. Modi. And the Prime Minister said, I told the American Vice President, in that case, Pakistan has to be ready to pay a heavy price. By making these statements, India officially on the floor of the Indian Parliament, without saying so, called out Trump's falsehoods. No leader in the world, no government in the world has called out the falsehoods of Donald Trump as clearly as the Indian government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has. And that is the reason why, while the talks are going on, Trump is using the Russia card to put pressure on India. Because Trump doesn't like being told that he's a liar. He's been saying around the world, I announced the ceasefire yesterday in the Indian Parliament. The government says that's absolutely untrue. That's why he's done this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I go to my next point. Is this going to hit us? It's not going to hit us much. It will concern us for a short while because we've already done trade deals with several countries. We've done trade deals with the United Kingdom, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan, Australia, UAE, Mauritius, the 10-nation ASEAN bloc, 4 European nations bloc, which is Ireland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland. We are talking to Oman, European Union, Peru, Israel. We're even talking to Canada. And when we talk to any country, there's no junior partner, senior partner approach. That's an antediluvian Trump approach, which is not going to work. The fact of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen. We are already half the size of the American economy. And this is what Trump doesn't like. We are more than half the size of the American economy in purchasing power parity terms. We are, in PPP terms, a 15 trillion plus economy. India's GDP, if you look at it in PPP terms, a $15 trillion economy. The US economy in real terms is 29 trillion, which means we are 54% the size of the American economy if we look at it in PPP terms. Do we expect America to be our friend? No. Do we expect China to be our friend? No. We're really growing fast. So this penalty is not really going to hit us. What we need to do is strengthen our association with the other worlds and be the leader of the rising part of the world, the global south. That's our future, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to be surprised at all about Trump's action. In fact, I would say it would be expected, because you remember what Jeffrey Sachs said to Tucker Carlson. Jeffrey Sachs, a prominent US economist, said, someday when India succeeds, the US would want to weaken India. Carlson, in agreement, added, probably sooner rather than later. Carlson was right. Jeffrey Sachs is dead right. It's Trump versus the truth. And the reality is that we are winning.